first. After Bronwyn Bishop's Choppergate, there's been an intense focus on how federal politicians use their entitlements and how they account for those expenses. Tonight we name two well-known politicians who spent years refusing to play by the rules.
Good evening. It took the loss of yet another minister, but Malcolm Turnbull has started the year with a bang, finally sacking Susan Lee and putting an end to rorting politicians forever.
I think we shouldn't be naive and think that our federal politicians and public servants are free from the temptations of corruption. We know certainly there have been major problems at the state and territory level, and I think we should be aware of the same sorts of dangers at the federal level.
Principal of Nimrod Resources has donated more than $2 million to the Liberal Party in the past 2 financial years.
Look, it's very hard to understand why we don't have a federal body of this kind. Of course, we've got them throughout the states. They've been well regarded, they've been effective. In fact, they've really been necessary given the sort of corruption they've exposed. So it does not make any sense that we lack such a body at the federal level when we have the same sorts of problems emerging. You've got to wonder whether the answer really is about political will and whether our federal politicians just don't have the desire to bring about what to me seems to be a much needed reform. Look, there's a lot of things that need to be done. One of the things is a single national anti-corruption body, but by itself that wouldn't be enough. We clearly need to reform underlying laws that don't provide adequate transparency. A really good example is around political donations. Those laws are lax. They enable large money to be legally donated in ways that can corrupt and influence the political process. And unless you fix those laws, you can have a national anti-corruption body, but without the legal backing to properly do its job. So what we need here is a holistic reform that goes across a lot of areas and seeks to achieve greater transparency and to have a body that can properly enforce strong laws.
More than a week since the travel entitlement scandal blew into a full-scale firestorm that burnt both sides of politics, Malcolm Turnbull finally acted, jettisoning the minister and implementing the biggest MP entitlements reform in our history.
The government believes that the work expenses of parliamentarians, including ministers, should be administered and overseen by an independent agency.
Australians want to see a clean political system. They want politicians to make decisions on their behalf, not behalf of other paying interests. And it's important that those issues are kept at the forefront of public debate. At the moment, where you have a system that someone perhaps might do something that clearly is against the community's interest, amounts to some form of corruption, yet they think there's no real chance they'll be caught or that they'll get in trouble if they are. Well, that's a system that's really wide open to corruption.